Hey everybody, welcome on into this YouTube version of the Score Computer. I'm your host, the Smash Justin Simmons. Now last year I was writing for a sports website and I did have the Score Computer up. I would only do about a handful of games. This year I'm doing full districts. And this computer was actually pretty close last season. So let's take a look at what it brings up this season. So let's go ahead and fire it up. It still runs on Windows 95. Jeez, I thought it would be a little bit newer than that. Well, either way, I can assure you it's pretty accurate, folks. Let's take a look at some of the districts around this Austin, Texas area. We'll start off in the classes 6A. We'll look at 13 and 14 6A. Followed by them, we'll go to the 5A classification. We'll take a look at 17, 25, which is one of the best in the state, and 26 5A. And then it's the Smash Fab Four, 4 random games from across the state that I use with the Score Computer. So without further ado, let's look at those 6A games. Alright, we start off in 13-6A. It is looking interesting, guys. The big matchup, the Battle of the Undefeateds. Round Rock traveling to Stony Point. All the teams will be on the bottom. The computer has Round Rock winning this one 28-14. We move over, Rouse going to Pflugerville. Rouse the favorite, and the Score Computer, it actually goes along with that. The 29-21 victory is what it predicts. Moving on, McNeil will be traveling to Cedar Ridge. Cedar Ridge undefeated, and looks like it might stay that way with a 42-20 win. And then we move on to Hendrickson, who will be playing at Westwood. Westwood's had a very tough non-district schedule. It does not get any easier with the Henderson Hawks. They are favored to win this game 35-14. Moving on to 14-6A, we have Austin High opening up their district slate against Westlake on the road. Westlake the favorite, 44-14. Hayes will be hosting Del Valle. Del Valle getting their first win of the season last week. It probably ends this week as Hayes is the favorite, 41-20. Aikens undefeated for the first 2 contests. They lost at Del Valle. It's going to be a tough battle with Lehman. I actually do agree with the score predictor on this one. It's going to be 35-30 in favor of Aikens, and then Bowie hosting Anderson. Bowie's had a very good non-district schedule. It will be 42-21 in their favor. Moving on to the classification of 5A. Here we go. 17 5A. All these are actually non-district games, folks. So just to let you know, Hutto, the favorite against San Antonio Holmes, 47-13. Temple continuing on, trying to get back to the state final game, 42-13 favorite over Harper Heights. Belton, and a very tough contest last week against Stony Point. Look to fare a little bit better this week. Computer has them 35-20 coming out of that contest. And then the battle of 2 surprising teams. There'll be Ellison going against Connolly. Pflugerville Connolly having a pretty good start to their season. The computer predicts that it will continue, and they will end Ellison's undefeated streak 27-20. Very easy to tell. The computer predicts it. I simply just read out what it says. Now, I don't always agree with the computer. Sometimes I think it picks a few upsets, and sometimes I just don't know if it knows what it's thinking. But I don't expect you to agree with it either. So you can leave your questions and your comments in the box below here on YouTube, and I'll try to get back to you. Now we're going to look at 25 5A, aka the best district in Texas. I think from top to bottom, the best district in this entire state. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, count them, 5 undefeated teams going into this week here in week 4. It's not going to end that way. Most of these teams are going to beat each other up just to get to the playoffs. But there is a possibility of having 2 of these teams going all the way to the state semifinal. Let's take a look at what the computer says about week 4 for 25 5A. Starting off, looking for revenge for the Black Rain of Cedar Park. They have just put a whipping on everybody they have played this season. The computer thinks that will continue when they open up district play at the Gump. 35-7 is what the prediction is for the score from the Score Computer in favor of Cedar Park. Vista Ridge on the road at Marble Falls. Marble Falls has a tie in their record, having to deal with that whole San Antonio John Jay incident. Doesn't look like it's going to matter here. Vista Ridge 41-26 according to the computer. Georgetown traveling to Leander. Hey, I'm glad that the Leander Lions got a win this season, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get many others in this very difficult district. Georgetown the favorite, 44-27. And then we move on to the battle of the undefeateds. Vandergrift going to Eastview, so they'll be moving to Georgetown. Vandergrift, though, defense still a little shaky for my taste, but they still got all-world running back Travis Brandon and Paxton Sagina out at wide receiver. I agree with the computer here, 42-34. Moving back closer to the Austin area, we'll look at 26-5A. The battle of the winless, the 0-3s, Travis going to Cedar Creek to take on the Iron Eagles. It's going to be close. I really do agree with the score for the computer. 47-35 in favor of Travis. Moving on, this will be the game of the week on 105.3 Classic FM. Me and Garrett Green will be on the road to Bastrop to see the pride of the East Side, Austin LBJ, take on the Bastrop Bears. LBJ favored 35-21. Coming back, going to House Park, Crockett taking on McAllen. Crockett hasn't had a win all season. The computer doesn't think they're going to get one on Friday night. McAllen, the favorite, 42-20. And then Austin Reagan, their running back Carr, phenomenal running back. Even though Lanier is 2-0, those teams not very strong. Reagan with the losing record 1-2, still favored 42-21. Alright, so we got to look through those games here in the Central Texas area. Now it's time for the Smash Fab Four. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 random games throughout the state of Texas that I thought were worth mentioning. Let's take a look. Alright, so we start off the Smash Fab 4. We move over to LaGrange, where it's going to be homecoming for the Leopards. J.K. Dobbins is already having another career year. One of the best running backs, not just in the state, but in the nation. Totally worth going to see. LaGrange is going to enjoy homecoming and the dance, according to the computer. 42-14. We move on to the Rio Grande Valley. Of course, I gotta show love for the 956, where the old guard Harlingen will be taking on Weslaco. The Cardinals have fallen on hard times as of late. Weslaco, they beat my Redskins. They've been looking pretty good this season, but the computer still has Harlingen as the favorite on the road, 27-20. We move over to San Antonio, where Converse Judson in an upset here. Going against San Antonio Brennan, the computer has Brennan winning by 1 single point, 27-26. And then we wrap up our Smash Fab 4 in the Metroplex, where Allen, the #1 team in the state of Texas, the #5 team according to Max Preps, will be taking on a Plano High team that's been playing pretty well as of late. But Allen is still the favorite by a lot. 42-14, a lot. Alright folks, well we looked through all of the scores. We're going to tally those up after these games are finished, and then we'll let you know next week how the computer did. As for right now, let's take a look at some of those cheap plugs. Alright, as you can see here, you can always add your ad. I'll be more than happy to put it up here, and we can discuss that later. Moving on, like I said, Game of the Week will be going on in Bastrop. We'll be traveling to Bear Country. Me alongside Garrett Green. We'll be seeing Austin LBJ taking on those Bastrop Bears. You can catch all the action live at around 7:30 p.m. on 105.3 Classic FM here in Austin, Texas. Or you can listen live on the app or online, so you can't miss it. Also, if you happen to like soccer, the different type of football, you can catch me, Garrett Green, and our really good friend Kit McConico on the throw-in on 104.9 The Horn, where Austin talks sports on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. And don't worry if you can't make it then, I know it's early. You can catch us on all of the following social media that you see us there. Well, there you have it, folks. That's the show. We'll check back in next week, see how the computer did. We'll predict the scores for week 5. And before I leave you, well, that 80s song, because I love those 80s songs. Your 80s song for the week? Working for the Weekend by Loverboy, because I know I'll be working hard this weekend. I hope you guys get to take it easy. If you're heading out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, whatever you may be doing, if you're traveling to those Friday night lights, be safe, and hopefully you'll be listening to me and Garrett on 105.3. Bye-bye for now.